The content you're about to enjoy comes from the archives of The Best You. We're devoted to the very best in personal development, with a platform and resources dedicated to inspiring and changing people's lives. At The Best You, we work with the world's leading writers and trainers on the evolution of the self, and people whose journeys have been affected by their work and words. These Best You EXPO talks are recorded in front of a live audience in a live event. We highly recommend that you focus on the message. As they say, what you focus on expands. Enjoy. Sierra Rasmussen. Every aspect of your life has led you to this moment. Everything you are meant to be lies within you now. Sierra Rasmussen is a Chief Empowerment Officer and an Authenticity Coach of Empowerment University. So learn to tap into your authentic self so you too can find happiness, success, and a life you love. The title of her talk is Be Radically You. Enjoy.
How you doing today? Good. I'm doing awesome. I'm super excited to be here, you all. This is my home state of California. I'm from Northern California originally, but it's really an honor to be up here today speaking with you all about how to be radically you. And I love talking about being radically you. People ask me what that really means, and what it really means to be radically you is to tap into who you are, your inner wants, needs, desires, and why you're here on earth. And I think that's the biggest question that I get posed all the time is, what's my purpose? Why am I here? And I have some really interesting stories to share with you all about how I figured out my purpose. But more importantly, I want to share some of the tips, tools that I use with my clients. I am a women's empowerment coach. I own a company called Empowerment University, and I work as what I call an authenticity coach. And as an authenticity coach, again, I'm helping women tap into their inner wants, needs, and desires. Because a lot of us are here and we think, I want to make 6 or 7 figures, or I want to be a mom, or I want to have this corporate job, but we don't really know why. We don't really know why we want to do these things. Chances are this was a dream that's been sold to us, and that's okay if that is your dream. But what I'm finding more often than not is that a lot of people don't know why they want what they want, and so they go on the motions, and they go through life and they find themselves dissatisfied. And so I want to talk about how you can be more satisfied with your life. And I brought some fun worksheets. You all have them here with you. And you have step 1, 2, 3, and 4. And these are just tidbits. So this is going to give you a taster of the type of work that I do. And I'll talk about how you can really graduate and move into this a little bit later in the talk today. But more importantly, I want to give you an opportunity, if your learning style is to write down. And there's a spot here for aha moments. If there's something that you resonate with today when I'm talking, feel free to shout yes. I can't steal Lisa Nichols' yes, yes. I love it, but I can't steal it. So if there's something, a hallelujah, an amen, you agree with what's going on, please share it. Because what I found out in this work is when you have a breakthrough, you allow someone else the opportunity to have a breakthrough as well. Because really, we are a community people. And I love the word tribe. I actually love that that's being really used right now because we are a tribal community. So if you have a breakthrough, if you like something that I'm saying, yell, hallelujah, yes, yes, yeah, whatever you need to do. And there is a spot if you want to write on your paper for some aha moments. And you also can find my information there on the form too. So if you want to be part of my tribe, you can know where to find me. All right, so let's get into it. So I didn't used to always be this person that was up here on stage. I wasn't always someone who was an entrepreneur, being able to talk to women around the globe. And you all, as a women's as a women's empowerment coach and an entrepreneur, I have a really awesome opportunity and responsibility to share what I know with the world. And it's given me some really great fortune. It's allowed me to travel around the world, and it's allowed me to be in places like this where I get to be surrounded by really high vibe people, right? Because it's different. And you all know what I'm talking about when you're out in the world and you're hanging out with this tribe versus when you're hanging out with the rest of the world. But what's awesome is we get to create some light here and we get to take it out in the world. So as this person that gets to do this, I'm constantly reminded that this used to not be my life. I didn't used to always be this person that stood up here and got to share my light with you all. Before, what I used to do, I was a chronic people pleaser, chronic procrastinator, and a recovering perfectionist. And you all, it is a testament to my recovering perfectionism, because if you go check by my booth, it's just me and some flyers. And thank God my mom and my sister showed up, and I think they rented a table out of somewhere and allowed for a space for me to sit down and create a better experience for you all if you come and see me. But before that would have driven me crazy. And not only would it have driven me crazy, it would have given me really bad anxiety. And chances are I would have cried, I would have quit, I would have yelled, I would have probably talked negatively about this event and how they didn't prepare me, and really go down a train of blaming other people for me not being in the state that I wanted to be in. And I don't know if you can think of yourself in this situation in your life before you started doing the work that you're doing, because you all are here. You're doing the work. And the first thing that you all can do to start to shift out of this is have the courage to act differently. And that has been my number one go-to thing. And it's step one here. It's been my number one is have the courage to take action. And when you have the courage to act differently, even if it's just in that moment, not reacting to someone cutting you off in traffic, right? It's when someone says something that you don't agree with, that you allow them to have your opinion and rise above. Right? The courage to take action sometimes means, you know what, I don't know anything about what I'm going to be doing today. I just know that I'm going to show up to this event. Chances are you didn't tell anybody about it except for maybe your best friend, right? And you brought them here with you. But I'm going to have the courage to go and do it anyway. And that really is the first step in becoming radically you, is you have to have the courage to take action. Because otherwise it's ideas. And I think we can think of that quote. If ideas paid money, I'd be a millionaire, right? You have to have the courage to take action. And think about this in whatever aspect you're in your life. Do you want to have a different type of relationship with your partner? Do you want to start and launch your business? It's only going to happen when you have the courage to walk through that fear. I believe Brene Brown said, courage feels like, I'm probably going to chop it up, but courage feels like bravery. And, I chopped it. The whole point is that it's scary sometimes to do the things that we want to do in life. And it really does take courage to walk through those things. And if you waited for every time that you were not in fear, then you wouldn't do it. You wouldn't do it, right? Yeah. This is really, really, really important. And I want you all to be able to walk away here with knowing that if there's nothing else that I learned from Sierra's talk today, it was that I just need to have the courage to do the things that I want to do. And not only the courage, but the action. I need to do something towards that goal. All right. So step one is having the courage to take action. Now, the next big thing, and this came to me, you all, I want to say that I woke up like this. I woke up being brave enough to come stand up here today. I woke up being the heaviest I've ever weighed in my life, and continue to see myself as beautiful regardless of the standards that are set out in front of me. And this was a really hard lesson for me to learn, because I didn't used to be a woman that stood up here with a bright pink jacket, with a form-fitting dress, with my hair done, and I had a professional makeup artist come today and really help prepare me for the day. That would have never been something that I do. And if you check out my Instagram page, I'm even on there in a bikini. That would never have been me before. And the thing is, I knew that wasn't the place I wanted to be in. You see, I'm I had gotten married and gotten divorced. And if anybody knows anything about being in a long-term relationship, chances are you probably jumped into another relationship next because it's kind of hard. Like, I was with my ex-husband for 12 years, and it was hard to be alone. I had a really hard time with it. And I left that relationship and I jumped into another one. And the thing about this new relationship, it was really fun. It was exciting. It was super passionate in good ways and bad. And something plagued me about that relationship. You see, I left my marriage knowing that I would never be with someone who didn't love all of me. But turns out he didn't really love all of me either. And I was told I needed to look a certain way and I needed to work out a certain amount of times. And I bought that story. And the reason I bought that story, not because he's a bad person, not because he's evil, not because of anything. It was because I was telling myself that story every single day. I told myself that I wasn't good enough to be with this type of person because I didn't look a certain way. I couldn't wear that outfit, as simple as that is, because I wasn't showing up that way. And it really put me in a place of depression. And what happened when that relationship ended is I realized, you know what? I need to fix myself. And this is horrible, you all. I thought, I need to fix myself because there has to be something wrong with me if I can't follow a diet, if I can't follow an exercise program, if I can't do these things, there has to be something seriously wrong with me. I mean, how can the rest of the world have their shit together, pardon my French, but not me? How is it that I can be really successful in my career, that I can make all of these really big steps in my life, and to overcome this divorce, which you all, it ate me up, but I came out. How can I do this and I can't figure out how my body works? What is going on? Well, at that time, my father was diagnosed with stage 4 non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. And to be honest with you, I was really happy because now I got to deal with somebody else's problems except for mine. And while this is happening, while I'm heartbroken with my rebound relationship with my divorce, I'm hating every part of my body, and my dad has cancer, I thought, you know what, Dad, if only you could go to therapy and figure out your stuff, I think you'd be okay. And you all, I really believed spiritually that if you can, find out what's going wrong with the inner you, that you can start to cure your outer you. So it was really driving me nuts that my father wouldn't go to therapy and wouldn't do these things. And then it dawned on me one day that, you know what, I wasn't doing those things. So I needed to go to therapy myself. So I went to therapy, and thank goodness, because I learned how to communicate with my father, who, frankly, we were estranged from a really young age. I wasn't that close to him. And I go to therapy, I figure out some really good things, and I turn to my therapist and I say, now I need to fix my body because something's going wrong. And bless her, she said, oh, do you think you're not beautiful? And what happened in that moment is I was like, F you, lady. That's not what I want to talk about. Obviously, you don't understand my problems. You can't help me with this. So I left her, and I'm very resourceful, and I'm online, I'm on Facebook, and I see a Mind Body Green article by this woman who was about my age, and she had cured herself from bulimia and anorexia. So I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this woman's done so much. She's beautiful. She has this beautiful life where she travels around the world and coaches women with their bodies. And she must know how to fix me. So I go and see her, and turned out she didn't fix my body. She fixed my mind, and she fixed my soul, and she helped me connect with who I was. And the biggest piece of advice she gave me was my first homework assignment was to go unfollow everybody on social media that didn't make me feel happy, didn't make me feel good. So I said, okay. And because I'm an overachiever and a perfectionist, I started following every plus size model I could find. And, and they're gorgeous and they're beautiful, you all. And I thought, oh my gosh, if these women can love themselves, that must mean I can too. And it shifted everything in my life. And I think we can all think about a moment when we finally see someone living a dream that we want. And it's how are they doing that? If they can do it, maybe I can too. And so I started trying to figure out, well, if they can do this, I can too. And I started reading what they wrote, doing the little things that they told me to do. And what started to happen was these women tricked me into loving myself. They tricked me into loving my body. And thank God they did, because I couldn't be up here today if I didn't learn to love myself and to know that I was worth it. If I didn't know that self-love could make me feel worthy of being in this human body, being in this skin that I wear around and around. And so step 2 of learning who you are and to be able to move forward is to love yourself and to know that you're worth it. Because you are. You all are worth whatever dreams you desire. You're worth going after all of it. But you can't even try to learn and discover what that is if you don't even love yourself enough to do it. So you have to have the courage. And then once you have the courage, you have to love yourself and know you're worth it. It's really important.
If you're interested in sharing your story, sharing your dreams, sharing your ideas in the largest personal development platform, the Best You Expo, sign up today. Go to www.thebestyouexpo.com or send an email to info@thebestyou.co.
And the thing is, and the belief that I have now is that we literally are here on earth to remember who we are and why we're here. Right? To remember who we are and why we're here. And in that same train of thought, and I wrote it in my description, like every moment in your life has led you up to exactly where you were. So that got me thinking, if I grew up and I didn't have this horrible relationship with my body, and I wasn't, I love Lena Dunham in Girls. She's like, I was tragically 10 pounds overweight. If I wasn't tragically 10 pounds overweight in my life, which is such like a first world problem to have, right? Then I couldn't help other women know that they're worth it no matter what. And every man know, every human know that you're worth it no matter what. So no matter what you desire, just know you're worth it. Like you wouldn't be born on this earth. You wouldn't be put here for absolutely no reason. And through this train of thought, I started to develop some spirituality. And I thought, well, if I love myself to fix my body, then I should be able to love myself enough to find out what the heck it is that I want to do. And by the way, who's God and what is all of this stuff about? And it really led me down to some interesting things. And it led me down to know, if I love myself enough, then I should be able to figure these things out. So like probably a lot of us in this room, I started experimenting with spirituality, meditation, crystals, essential oils, healers, psychics, tarot card readers, you name it. The chances are a shaman. I've spoken to all of them. I've gotten past life readings, regressions, and what I found out from everybody is that I was missing something. And it wasn't that they needed to give it to me. I needed to get it for myself. And I don't know if you all know where I'm going with this, but we all have something in us. And it's there. And I think, and actually, you know what? I'll invite you all in this room if you don't mind. Nothing weird's going to happen. If you could close your eyes. Close your eyes with me here. And I'm going to walk you through something. So while you're closing your eyes, observe that not only am I talking in this room, but there's a lot going on. There's a lot of chatter. There's a lot of really excited people sharing their products. But what matters most is that you're here and you're in this space and you've chosen to be here. And as you've chosen to be here, you know that there's something that you came here to find. There's something you came here to find. And you're thinking of what that is in your head. And as you're thinking, I came here to find this. I came here to learn this. You feel a knock on your shoulder. And with your eyes closed and in your head, you're thinking, who is this person? They're so familiar. They feel and sound like someone that I know before. And as they tap you on the shoulder, they whisper something to you in your ear. and they're giving you the answer. They're telling you you came here for. You came here for. And as you smile and knowing what you came here for, and this voice, it just sounds so familiar. And I want you all, if you can open your eyes and open them gently, hold that feeling that you had in this moment. And there was a voice there, something that talked to you, and it was familiar. And I used to think that this voice was like a spirit guide or an angel, and that works sometimes for me, and God. But what it really was, it was that voice. It was that voice as you're talking right now, you have another voice in the back of your head, and they're, making judgments about what's going on around you, and they're observing things, and they're thinking, does this girl make any sense? And the thing is, we have an observer that lives inside of us, and we also have a really intelligent being that lives inside of us, and it is us. And it's available to us at any point in time. It's available for us to tap into, but it's hard to be able to tap into unless someone teaches it to you. Children are really great at it. They can have a whole life, a whole imaginary life with this other person, and this other person, it is you. And there's something that needs to happen in order for us to be able to tap into that person. And it's a really simple thing. It's not magic. It's not divine intervention. It's not even, it can be angels if that's your belief. I don't want to say anything that it's not. But what it is, that thing that you need to have to be able to trust and believe in this thing that can tap you on the shoulder and tell you what you need is belief. There's a belief that in life you're given something more powerful than you've ever experienced before. And this thing that you're given is you. Some people call it intuition. Some people call it your inner self, your inner child. It exists and it lives with you. And you need to have belief that it's there, because being able to tune in and to tap into this person is going to help you learn who you are. So if any of you are unsure, like, Sierra, how do I do this beyond belief? Like, give me some real tangible things that I can do. One of my favorite things that I tell clients to do when they're really learning who they are and they're trying to figure out, what they want and what their business is going to be and who are they going to be after their marriage, is do something that makes your 5-year-old self happy every day. If you don't know how to tune into this person, let me tell you, this person, this inner self, it's full of joy. It's full of love. And all it wants to do is be happy, make sure you're safe. So do something that makes you happy every day. And it can literally be an ice cream cone. It can be calling your mom. It can be going for a swing out on the playground. That's like one of my favorite things. And this is the thing that helps you tap into who you are. When you can start to follow this thing, then it starts to speak to you, and it starts to tell you things, and it helps guide you on your way. So another thing that your inner voice does that some people have a hard time with is your inner voice also tries to protect you. So your inner voice sometimes comes out as fear. Like, maybe I were to invite one of you on stage right now, your inner person might freak out and be like, I'm not going up there. There's no way I'm going up there on stage. And your inner person is there to remind you, you know what, it's scary and I want to protect you, and I don't want you to go up on stage and embarrass yourself and have somebody see you in the wrong light. Our inner self is something that's there to help guide us. And if we can start to learn to listen to that, even in times of fear and in doubt, we can turn to this inner thing, this inner person, this inner child, and we can start to understand what it is there for and what it's trying to tell us. So step 3 is to trust your inner voice. Develop a relationship with your inner voice. In order to be radically you, you need to create an opportunity for you to have a relationship with this person, with this being, with this inner self, with this intuition, so it can start to guide you and bring you into positions in your life that are beneficial to you. And if any of you have followed like law of manifestation and law of attraction, intuition is a really important thing for you to have in order to achieve these levels of abundance and so on. All right. So How are y'all doing? Okay. Good. I'm sweaty. Oh, I'm really sweaty. And I'm thinking, how can I make sure that, I can talk to you for another 22 minutes? And thank goodness I practiced and I know what I'm going to be talking about up here. But still, you all, I get scared and I get nervous too. And I think the biggest thing about being radically you, and this is nowhere a step in the program and you can write it down wherever you want. But a real thing is to literally be real, that whole thing, be real, show up. If I would have just kept to the fact that I was sweaty, I wouldn't allow me to have this comic relief and calm down my inner freak out right now. So I can continue to talk to you all. And this is what it takes in real life in order for you to do well in your job. I hear all the time people who, want to have raises. I need a raise and I feel like my boss doesn't see me and they don't understand all this work that I do. And one of the biggest pieces of advice that I give them is just be real. Go in there and be I'm kind of nervous right now because I haven't talked to you about this in a while. And I know we said we'd talk about it 6 months ago and then I kind of chickened out and I didn't come in here. But I really do want to talk about my performance because I really feel like I've been kicking ass and taking names. And we really haven't talked about my bonus like we said that we would. That alone allows you to have a different type of relationship with the person that you're talking with because you're owning up to it. You're not putting blame on anybody and you're preparing yourself to be in a situation in which you can be, that can be advantageous for both parties. And being radically you really does come down to being real and communicating that to other people. It's really important to communicate these things with other people. Really, really, really important. And while that isn't a step, that's something that I definitely cover with my clients. It's really important. Yeah.
The Brene Brown quote. It's courage is to speak your mind with your heart.
That's great. Thank you. Courage is to speak your mind with your heart. That's wonderful. Thanks. Did you read her last book, The Braving Wilderness? Or I think I said that right. Braving Wilderness. It's a great book. Huh? Yeah. Courage is to speak your mind with your heart. Thank you. She writes a great blog, by the way. So if you want more information. All right. So we're already on to step 4, you all. And this one's really fun. This is my favorite step. So it's actually going to be really interactive. We're going to do some stuff together. What I'd like you all to do is stand up. Okay. Now, can you kind of let's see, turn around and look at somebody you don't know. All right. Now walk over to that person, introduce yourself. This is my favorite thing in church when I did go and you say, peace be with you. All right. Thank you. Thank you for introducing yourselves. Okay. So, awesome. All right. Now what I want you to do, this is going to be a little bit uncomfortable, okay? So are you all still standing next to the person? Still standing next to the person? Do we got enough people here? Do we need pairs? We got pairs? All right, cool. It might make you laugh, but try not to laugh. Try not to say anything. I'm going to time this. I've got a timer up here. I want you to look into this other person's eyes I'll tell you when to stop. Do your best just to look at them, okay? Just look at them and I'll tell you when to stop. It'll be uncomfortable. You can laugh if you want to, but just look at the other person in the eyes. Starting now. All right, let's do it. We're going to keep looking. You guys are doing great. I told you it's uncomfortable, but just keep looking. Awesome. Yeah. All right. Now, you can give the person a hug if you want. All right. So what we just did in that minute, and it was literally just a minute, you guys, I don't even know if it was exactly a minute, is you allowed yourself to have some true connection with with another person in the room, someone you didn't know. And this can be hard to do, right? Like it's even harder maybe if it was like your husband or like your best friend that you were staring at. Because oftentimes when we have our tribes, when we have this community around us, true connection doesn't always live there. And when you can connect with somebody just in their eyes, without words, without judgment, you allow for something really beautiful to happen. And you allow for true connection to happen. And I wish I could tell you all the sciencey things that I've learned about this, but I can be completely honest, I'm not going to remember everything. But we're starting to release things in our body when we create that true connection. It's the same thing that happens when a mother and a child look at each other in the eyes. It's not that much different. We can do this. We can create this connection with people in our lives. And it doesn't just require us to sit here and look across from each other. True connection, you guys can take a seat. You don't have to stand up anymore.
If you're interested in speaking, exhibiting, or getting involved in the largest personal development expos in the world, contact us today at www.thebestyouexpo.com or send us an email to info@thebestyou.co.
So what happens when we start to create true connection in our lives? When we can really have a conversation or even go out on a date. And you all, I've been getting back into dating. I call it like conscious dating, where you go out and you really like talk about who you really are and what you really want, even though they might not agree with it and you don't really know if they agree with it. And so you're just trying to be real and trust your intuition and be confident and love yourself. All of these wonderful things. When you can do that at a point in which you're creating true connection with somebody else, you really allow an opportunity for them to step up into that space. And we were talking about this just earlier. When you can have the courage to take action and do the things in your life that make you happy, when you can love yourself enough to continue that pursuit no matter how scary, and you can trust your inner voice to guide you when you really don't know what's going on. You're thinking this is the right way to go, but you're not really sure, but you think it does because it feels good. And hey, you're trusting this thing inside, so I'm going to go along with it. The next step in pretty much everything, because we're all here on earth either to have some sort of relationship, to have, maybe we're here to achieve something. We need other people. We need other people. And so we really need to have an opportunity in which we create true connection with these people in our lives. We really create true connection. And if you cannot be you in a relationship, when you cannot show up in a way where you're just laying it all out on the line, like this is who I am, hopefully you like it. When you can start to do that, what you do is you allow other people to live their lives like that too. You allow your kid to be able to come to you and say, you know what, Mom, I'm not really interested in going to martial arts anymore. I know I've done this for like a couple of years, but I'm actually really into dancing, or I'm really into science club or whatever. When we can do that, we actually allow everybody else around us to start living that way. When we start to say, I love you, friend, but I'm just not really interested in going out and partying anymore. Like, I'd rather go and hang out this like expo. Do you want to come with me? Do you want to learn about these things this weekend? And they might say no, and you might lose some people. It happens. But what you really do when you can be in this space and you can create this true connection with your tribe, you allow yourself and everybody around you to just be them. There's no line. There's no having to figure out who you are at home, who you are at work, who you are when you're dating, you don't have to pretend to be somebody else when you introduce someone to your parents. You just get to be you. And by the way, I just did that. I just did that. It was like really nerve-wracking. But I decided to just peel the Band-Aid off. You're just going to come over. My brother was there with his 3 kids. The house was kind of crazy. And I just did it. I just went for it. And it was like the most liberating thing that I had done. And I cannot believe I've preached being authentic and I work with all these people. And I hadn't really done that in my dating life. And creating my tribe with my partner, with hopefully this new guy, maybe he's a new partner. Seems to be going that way. Well, time will tell. We allow ourselves to have community. And those times in our lives when we are frustrated because we thought we'd be over here, but we're still stuck here. Lisa Nichols said, and I'm going to get this one right because I love Lisa. She said, be friends with the people that see you 5 years from now. And that's a really great space to be, because when you start surrounding yourself with people, and it doesn't have to be high achievers, we're all entrepreneurs. It can just be someone who knows that you want to be someone who can tell your husband how you really feel every time he goes out and buys something really expensive. And you're like, dude, that's not in the budget. Like, you want to be able to be that person that can just be real. And your friends, your tribe, your people are going to be the ones that hold you accountable. The times where you're just so utterly frustrated because you thought that, I'm going to go into my boss's office. I'm going to practice all this stuff Sierra said. I'm going to do all this research on what everybody else is making in the industry, catalog my achievements, and then your boss tells you couldn't. And all you want to do is cry, be miserable, not go to work anymore, be depressed, even though you love your job. Your friends are the ones that are going to hold you accountable and keep you there. Your tribe, your real tribe. And so even though we just did like a little short exercise today, you allowed yourself to be real enough to look at somebody in the eye. And it wasn't probably that long ago that you couldn't even sit across from someone you loved and really look them in the eye. And being able to look at somebody in the eye is a really wonderful thing. And it allows any part of yourself that you were holding on to, your old persona, right? Your thing that you were kind of lying about. And it could just be to yourself, like that you're really happy even though you're not. It allows that to show up, and it allows your tribe to allow you to take care of you. So step 4 is to build your tribe and to build it authentically. Consciously build your tribe. It's really, really, really important. And I left a little blank line on here, and it doesn't matter, but how you use it, because you guys can take this information with you and help it enrich your lives, or, you can take the little pieces that you like and get rid of the rest. I'm only here to provide you everything that I've known that's helped me in my life so far, and I really hope it helps you. But there's a little piece on here, and it's blank, and it's just next to the yellow bubble, and it says join my tribe underneath, which I really would love you to have you join my tribe. There's a spot for you to write down someone's name, phone number, Instagram handle, someone here at this conference. Maybe it was somebody in the room, somebody you looked at. Because the people who you want to be part of your tribe are the people that are kind of interested in some of the stuff you're doing, right? And there's nothing more worthy, in my opinion, and it isn't just because this is my industry, but there's nothing more worthy than self-development. There's nothing more honorable than wanting to be your best self. Because giving yourself the permission to be your best self, to be radically you, there's nothing more worthy than that. Because listen, I said earlier that we're here to remember who we are, and we're here to remember why we're really here on earth. And that doesn't happen until you can give yourself the permission to be you. And I truly believe, I didn't talk about it much, I'm a very spiritual person, but I truly believe that the path will open up for you. But it doesn't just happen by you walking through life and ignoring the signs. You really do have to be tuned in. You have to know what feels good. You have to be able to sense with our body, with our mind, with our soul, what's going on around us. If it's something that we even want, if it's something that makes sense, because there's something here for everyone. And with the internet, there's a lot of choices. There's a lot of people you can follow. There's a lot of books you can read. There's a lot of ways of life that you can be. But if you don't know who you are, it can be really confusing. And I want you all to know that it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be that way. And I want to give you all a personal invitation as well, because this is just a peek at some of the work that I do with my clients. A lot of times I have clients that come to me and they're just like, I've been recently divorced and I don't know what to do. I thought that this is the life that I wanted, but I've kind of realized that maybe I wasn't. And there was a lot of times I was unhappy. And what do I do? Or people that have had a career change. Maybe they've been laid off from a job and they're thinking, what was I supposed to do with my life? Or they just had a really interesting moment. And you all, I'm sure there's some people here in the room that all of a sudden they tried something and they really liked it. And they're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I haven't been doing that, or haven't been doing more of that. Or you start to see someone living life other than how you lived. And you start to realize that there's more out there. So those are the types of people that I work with. And it really varies. Like I said, it's really all over the board, but people are starting to come awake more and more. This is what I truly believe on a spiritual level. And it's going to require a lot of us to step up to the plate, to live a life worth living, and to start to make decisions more consciously and more spiritually than ever. And there's a really big march happening today, and this isn't like to be political, but it's called the March for Lives, I believe, or March for Lives. And this is in response to the Parkland shooting that just happened on Valentine's Day. And if what had happened in those children's lives didn't happen, we wouldn't have maybe some of our biggest political leaders happening here on the planet. So whatever happened in your life that led you to sitting here in this seat today, it's calling you forward and it's asking you to be part of something. You don't know what that is, and that's okay. It's all about finding out who you are and allowing for the universe and being okay with these circumstances and these things that happen to allow us to be here. So if you're interested in working with me, if you're interested in figuring out how can I take this a step further? How can I find out and really trust who I am? How can I have someone to hold me accountable for living my best life? I'm available. And I have a program that's specially made for people here. It's called Be Radically You. It's named after this talk. It's going to be a 9-month journey in which you can go along. And I apologize, it's a women's workshop. And for those who identify as women. And in this 9-month program, you're going to allow yourself to rebirth, right? The birthing cycle takes about 10 months if you ask my mom. It's a 9-month process in which you get to move along with other women. You get to have someone like me to hold you accountable. You get to start to experiment in a place that's safe. You get to be with women who know what you've been through and maybe have achieved something you haven't. And it'll allow you to get more curious and to play around and help you tune in to who you really are. Tune into your wants and needs and desires and help you start to trust that inner voice and cultivate community and really start to build a life you love. So if you're interested in this program, if you'd like to learn how you can participate, I am available. I'm just over here at the Empowering Women or Empowerment University stand right across 722. It's available exclusively for this. And we'll set up a time in which we can talk about how that works and what that means for you, and more importantly, what your goals are and how I can support you. So if you're interested, that is available to you. This work can continue to go on, and it doesn't have to end here today. And if there's anything else that I can leave you with, because my timer's on yellow, which means I'm wrapping up really soon. So everything in your life has led you up to this moment. And every part of who you are and what you're meant to be lives within you. You have the power to figure it out. You are not powerless. And if all you did was follow these 4 steps, you'd get really far. You'd start to find out what makes you happy, what turns you on, what to avoid, what maybe career path you'd like to go down, what type of partner you'd like to be with. All of that information isn't things that you need to find out in a quiz. This is information that lives within you. And I'm here to help you bring that out. And I think that's the end of the talk, y'all. Thank you.
For more information, go to www.thebestyou.co.